PSG want Mate. The Saudi clubs want half of the squad. And somehow we're still trying to improve this team. Welcome back to the Sir Alex Ferguson Aberdeen Challenge here on Super Sammy Plays. Last season we made a real step forward as we reached the Champions League round of 16 for the first time. But we can't be satisfied with that, as the entire point of this series is to actually win the whole thing. The downside to our success is that people are taking notice, and as the transfer window opens, everybody wants our players. So, can we keep a hold of our best talent, or are we going to find ourselves rebuilding this squad once again? Let's get into it and find out. And this is how we're going to start off the summer with Al Najma from, well, I'm assuming is a Saudi club, wanting Ofer Levi. And yeah, this is very much a sign of things to come. I'm not actually entirely sure. A lot of these Saudi clubs, I only really know like Al Ittihad, Al Hilal, Al Nasir sort of things. But yeah, they all come in for all of our players in this episode. Along with PSG making an 18 million bid for Mohamed Mate. And I did go and check, and it was only 2 million short of his release clause, which is 20.5 million. So, knowing that it was pretty much inevitable that they were going to come back in for him, rather than just straight up rejecting it, I just negotiated and said, well, his release clause is 20.5 million. If you give me that, we'll leave the percentage of profit from the next sale in there as a cheeky little future incentive. And yeah, we'll see if they come back with that, which they very much agreed to, and they met that release clause. So it looks like for the second season in a row, we're going to be selling our top goal scorer. And then, yeah, this is where things start to get a little bit crazy, as we get another offer for Urena. And you might remember we signed him for 825k. I think it was a season and a half ago or something. But he's certainly improving, and yeah, people are obviously taking notice of that. But he's not somebody that we are wanting to sell just yet. Like I say, we've still only had him for like a year and a half or something. So I did go back and actually say to them, I want 40 million, which they end up actually pulling out of. But I ended up actually changing my mind later on in this, and I just kept rejecting every offer that we do get for him, which obviously he wasn't happy about. And yeah, he's just going to have to deal with that because we're not willing to let him go. He did say he would stay if we offered him £205,000 a week, and we eventually did negotiate to get back down a little bit, and which he said 175k, which is obviously still way more than we're able to offer. So no new contract for him, and he's if I've got anything to do for it, he's not going to be getting a move either. So we'll see how that goes later on in the episode. And after we rejected that for Urena, they went and offered for our other centre-back in Pedro Silva, which again, that got rejected. We actually paid quite a bit of money for him with 12 million. And yeah, they then went for another centre-back in Fricio Caicedo. They literally just went through the entire team. So we do say goodbye to Mohamed Mate. And after one good season, he's going to Paris Saint-Germain for 20 million. So another one we signed on a free transfer, so a nice bit of profit there. But this is one I was quite disappointed about, as Al Tawoun do come in for Fer Lopez for 15.5 million, which got accepted straight away because I didn't realise he actually had a release clause of that value. So we did again speak to him about extending his contract, which he was happy to do so if we offered him 230k a week, which is obviously not going to happen. So it looks like we're going to be saying goodbye to our one season wonder in Fer Lopez. And Al Tawoun weren't just satisfied with getting our cam in Fer Lopez. They wanted Caicedo, as you've just seen. And they also want the goalkeeper in Charles. They literally just decided to try and ransack our whole club. So we had to start looking for players that we could potentially bring in ourselves. And the first of those is going to be Matteo Milo. And we do get a bid accepted of 10.75. And he does look pretty nice indeed. And it was a release clause. So it does mean that we're going to be able to offer him a contract straight away. But as you can see, there is interest from Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City, so we're going to do well to actually sign him. And yeah, I was negotiating quite a lot. I was quite surprised actually he wanted to be like a star player, which I didn't really want to offer, but it is what it is, and we'll see how that goes later on. And meanwhile, for that deal for Fer Lopez did go through. It went through very fast indeed, and obviously we didn't have any choice about it, so it is a shame that we're not going to get to see more of him, as he was very good for us last season. Unfortunately, it looks like we have missed out on Milo, as he's going to Como of all teams. I didn't even realise they were interested, but he has chosen to stay in Italy. And it looks like we have got some more rejecting to do, as Al Nassr have now made an offer for Michael Funk, our very good left-back / left-winger in training with his great physicals. I did check, doesn't have a release clause. I remember actually making sure he didn't. And yeah. And obviously, he wasn't too happy about that, but I was not willing to let him go. I was very much invested in improving him and seeing him reach his full potential. And yeah, with both him and Urena, I thought it'd be quite good to actually see a side by side of their stats, when we signed them to compared to where we are now. And this is what he was looking like. Ignore the photo. Obviously, that is the AI generation because he is a new gen player. But you can certainly see the progression he has made in the technical stats with a couple of attribute points, here and there all the way through. Bigger upgrade in marking as well, which is great for his defensive side of things. And then this is the physicals and the mentals. And yeah, a couple of extra points in balance and a couple of extra points in pace, but noticeable increase in mentals. And I was really impressed actually to see how much he'd come on. And I didn't actually realise quite how much until you actually put like the stats side by side. And the reason I'm doing this is because after that offer, we got another one of 26.5, which we rejected. And then we got another one of 32 million, which we also rejected. And then 37.5 million. And then 51 million. They literally would not leave us alone trying to get Michael Funk in this window. The last time it was negotiable, so we negotiated all the way up to 100 mil, which eventually did the job and put them off from actually trying to sign him. And then back to Urena, these are his attributes before and after of his technicals, and then on to his mentals and physicals. Not quite the same level of upgrade as Michael Funk, but certainly still upgrading nonetheless. And like I say, we signed him for 800k and he's worth 17 to 20 mil right now. And again, just like Funk, they went from one, I'd reject it, they'd go for the other, and then I'd reject it and they'd go back to the other. And it was literally offer after offer. And then Olympiacos randomly decided to get involved as well. So I've just put all these together rather than show you basically continuously going on through the entire summer. But this does go on for the entire summer. So yeah, I just kept rejecting it. And it just turns out we're going to have two unhappy players. And hopefully we can try and fix that as the season goes on. After both of them, Funk and Urena, both requested transfers, or being put on the transfer list rather, and I rejected it with both of them. And yeah, kind of a stubborn move from me, but it is I wasn't willing to let them go, so it is what it is. But back to actually trying to improve the squad. This man, you might know him from Football Manager 26. He is very much one of the top wonder kid in that left wing position, and it turns out he was available on a free transfer. So yet again, the free transfer market is providing for us as we went ahead and offered him a contract. And yeah, he didn't actually want too much money, just a 34.5 grand a week. And we did manage to remove the release clause from that, so that isn't going to come back to bite us with this one. And after a little bit of negotiating, he did go on to accept the contract, and we have signed him. And yeah, very pleased with this one. He will certainly be providing some extra quality out on the wing. Also valued at 22 to 24 million, which is pretty nice considering we've just got him on our free. And he's going to be playing in this first match as we go away to Hearts for the first game of the season, in which we get off to a great start in the 6th minute as Vernblad plays it inside to Pedro Silva, a little back heel, little 1-2, gets it back to Vernblad, and he has started off the season showing that we do not need Mohamed Meite as he scores the first goal of the game. And then from another free kick, Martin Vernblad scores his second goal of the game to give us a 2-0 lead. We had a great chance in the 62nd as Sato puts a great ball over the top to Gibbs White, and he probably should have done better there, but he shoots wide of the post. And then we wrap it up in the 74th as Milivanovic plays it inside to Levi, and he plays a great ball over the top to Jay Robinson on his debut, and he assists our other youngster, Eric Adam, who we've not long signed as well, obviously at the start of the window. He wraps it up as we win 3-0. Unfortunately, Morgan Gibbs-White has picked up a cut leg in that one and is going to be out for 2 weeks. But Vernblad, like I say, showing that we didn't need Meite as he takes the plaudits from that one. And yeah, Robinson impressing on his debut as well. We also get the team of the week, which was absolutely dominated by us as the entire back five and a couple of attackers in Vernblad and Eric Adam, which was surprising, off the bench. Another injury as Sadiki is going to be out for a couple of weeks with a bruised heel. And then on to our second game of the season, as our first home game actually, as we welcome St Johnstone and Jay Robinson causing all sorts of chaos again as he pulls it back for Martin Jimenez for him to score the first goal. And we added a second in the 8th minute as Martin Wernblad continues his good start to the season, getting on the score sheet. Then things looked like they were going to go a little bit wrong as Will Wright gets one back for St Johnstone before they quickly equalised in the 25th minute with a cross to the far post and tapped in for an open goal by Becerra. We do get back in front though in the 27th minute, as Ofer Levi heads home from a Prenkpolage corner, and then we quickly added a fourth as Ryan Sato gets onto an Ansu Fati assist. Wernblad then absolutely killing it at the moment as he makes it 5 before we concede again from Frank Schack, making it 5-3, or wrapping the scoring up with Ansu Fati getting onto a cheeky little flick from Martin Wernblad as we go on to win 6-3. And then onto our first cup tie of the season, and I forgot it was a cup tie, to be honest, as I would have completely rotated the squad. And we ended up playing a full strength squad, against Falkirk, which they are in the same league as us. I think maybe just got promoted, or I don't know. They're one of those teams that go up or down. But it was a pretty comfortable game for us anyway. Eric Adam finding Josh Doig, and he shoots, deflecting to Milovanovic, who finds Jay Robinson, who scores his first goal for us with a great finish on his left foot, hitting the underside of the crossbar to wrap up a 3-0 victory and advance to the next round. And Ansu Fati on form in that last one, so that was nice to see that he's actually playing and injury-free at the moment. And we go on looking to obviously bring some more improvements in with Semi Kills, I think it's Kiliksoy. We looked at him, we looked at Noah Darvic as well. These are obviously players that were massive on FM24, so you might recognise the names. And yeah, we're just looking at players that we can potentially bring in to improve this squad after obviously losing a couple here and there. Moussa Diaby, one of the players that obviously he did okay last season, but the season before he was exceptional. And he's unhappy with his game time. And we did eventually speak to his agent basically and say that he wasn't going to be playing for us anymore. We need to obviously cash in him while we can, as he's now 32 years old and he's only going to get worse from this point. So after we've just signed Jay Robinson and Eric Adam, we do say goodbye to Moussa Diaby as Zenit St Petersburg come in for him with a £10.5 million bid. This is one of the players that we're going to be looking to replace him with, who can play as a cam, as a striker, either side of the wing as well. Simone Profundi, another one that you will recognise from FM24 if you played it. And yeah, 16.75 mil release clause was quite nice for him. So we do go ahead and offer for him, and obviously quickly get the bid accepted due to it meeting that release clause. And after a bit of negotiating with the promises, I obviously didn't want to guarantee him being a starter at the moment. We've got obviously a lot of good players in his position, but he was quite happy being a squad player with the promise of him being a bit more important next season. And a bit of negotiating, we do manage to get the contract accepted, so we'll see if he chooses to sign for us after this match. And this match is going to be against Livingston away for us in the league, and it nearly started off brilliantly for the home side as Fall shoots into the back of the net, but thankfully for us, the goal was disallowed for an offside, and then we go back up the other end and punish them in the 31st minute as Carlos Alexander to Sato, and he lays off Levi, who fires in from distance, giving us a 1-goal lead. We then added a second in the 33rd minute, so literally a couple of minutes later, as Felicio Caicedo gets his head onto a corner. And then we added a third in the second half as Levi gets another chance and his deflected effort going past the goalkeeper, making it 3-0. Livingston did pull one back in the 68th minute with a cross to the far post and the save from Charles going straight back head to Mark Helm as he puts it into the net. But we do retake our 3-goal lead as we get a penalty in the 88th minute, which Ryan Sato fires home and puts into the bottom corner to give us a 4-1 lead. And that is how the game finishes. So Sato getting the plaudits from that one, and Profundi's move is delayed due to a work permit, and I did go ahead and make an offer for this guy. Is literally my favourite player on this entire game. Kanuzun, loved him on the last one, love him on this one, and he's somebody I certainly would always try and sign. And we did get a bid accepted of 45 million, but unfortunately, he didn't want to come to us, so that was pretty disappointing. But to make me feel a little bit better, Pafundi has agreed to come to us, so we've certainly got another quality player coming in at least. We then got the Champions League fixtures for the season, and we've got some pretty tough games here, with Salzburg, Leverkusen, Inter, Dortmund being the last 4 of those games, with the first 4 being Villarreal, Arsenal, Juventus, and Real Betis. So some pretty tough ties there, but I certainly think that with the improvements that we've made, we should be able to comfortably qualify for the knockout stages. And after we've just played Falkirk in the Cup, we are going to be playing against them in the league. And just like in the League Cup match, we start off brilliantly in this one. And in the 26th minute, Fati spreads it out to the right with Hernandez. And he plays a 1-2 with Jimenez, pulls it into the middle. And Martin Verblad continues by scoring in every game so far this season, making it 1-0. We added a second in the 61st minute, so it took a little bit of time to get this one. Ansu Fati finding Hernandez, and he shoots across goal to give us a 2-goal lead. And then we get a chance to wrap it up in the 93rd minute with a penalty. It's Josh Doig causing all sorts of chaos from the left wing-back position. He gets brought down by our former player. You might remember Redondo, now playing for Falkirk. But it is Morgan Gibbs-White who steps up and sends the... Well, the keeper went the right way, but beats the keeper as we go on to win 3-0. And then we've gone back for some more FM24 Wonder Kids, as we have made an offer for Semi Kilikskoy. And not entirely sure if I've actually butchered his last name, but we do go ahead and make an offer, which does get accepted. And this is his stats. If you want a quick look, worth 27 to 32 mil, so quite a big signing for us. But then we hit this little bit of a problem, as he wouldn't let me actually change anything when it came to offering him a contract. So I had to hand it over to my assistant and hope for the best, and pray that he didn't put a port release clause in the deal. And hand it over to them and hope for the best. But while we were waiting for that, we did get the news that Martin Verblad has won the Player of the Month, which is unsurprising after the start he's had. I think getting 5 goals in 4 games. So very nice start from him, and filling the void for Maite very nicely. And we did get the news that we've been waiting for, that his Semi has signed for us. And obviously happy enough with the contract that our assistant had offered him. So that's another very nice player that we've brought in. And I'm looking forward to seeing what him and Pafundi can do for us going forward. So after a bit of a mad transfer window, I went big on the last day, as we broke the club record for money spent, as we brought in Simone Pafundi and Semi Kilikskoy. We've also managed to hold on to 2 of our brightest young talents in Urena and Funk, but neither are particularly happy about it. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects performances and the squad dynamics as the season progresses. Losing Fer Lopez was a big disappointment after the impact he made this season, but due to that release clause in his contract, there was very little we could do about it. Hopefully, our 2 FM24 Wonder Kids can step up and fill the void left by him and Moussa Diaby. But that is going to do it for this episode, and if you've enjoyed it, do me a favour, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.